Right, so I'm building a P-Bass for my youngest daughter. All the hardware's in, but the body and the neck are a few weeks away. One of the things I did do was buy a couple of different pickups. So I thought we'd have a bit of a showdown. I've got my trusty old Yamaha P-Bass copy. Let's put them in and see how it goes. So what we have here is a cheapie off AliExpress. Pretty much the top of the range from Seymour Duncan, and this one's also from AliExpress. It's calling itself a Wilkinson, and of course we have our mid-90s tech P-Bass pickup standard from Yamaha. So what we want to do to make sure it's a fair test is make sure the pickups are all set to the same height. I'm going 2.75mm on the bottom string up to 2mm on the top string. So first of all, the pickguard needs to come out of the way. Access to the electrics in the back. The strings are in the way, so get them loosened off. Start undoing the pickup. Desolder. Here's the new ones. This is the cheap ones. Let's do a bit of a test fit. The cheap ones use a spring to set them off. Thought I'd weigh them all, see if that makes any difference. Just start screwing them in, get them soldered into place, and get the strings up to a rough tension, and that way I can get the height above the pickup sorted out on the bottom strings and then the top strings. So I chose a classic Pink Floyd bass line for the test. Let's start with the original Yamaha as it stands for the comparison to get a bass line. See what I did there? My apologies to all the bassists out there. Yes, I play like a guitarist. Now you can see from this that each of the pickups had a different gain, which was to be expected. They have different windings, and I probably didn't get the distance to the string the same every time. So if I was to play it as it was recorded, then obviously the loud one would sound better. The louder is always better. So what I did was I normalized them all to have like a peak 0 dB, and then that way we'd be able to hear the differences in the tone rather than just hearing the differences in the loudness. Right, let's have a listen to the cheapies, then the Wilkinson, and then the Seymour Duncan. Yeah, wow, there's not a lot in it, is there? Let's just have another quick listen. Look, all I'm really hearing is the subtle difference that I played it and that I should have tuned the Wilkinson guitar a bit better. Sorry. The Yamaha is slightly dull. the AliExpress cheapie doesn't quite have the same punch, but I'm not hearing a big difference between the Wilkinson and the Seymour Duncan. Now the specs, the cheapies are the lightest and the SDs were the heaviest, which makes sense because there's a bit more metal in them. The resistance is also sort of follows the trend. The Yamaha's sort of a bit lower, maybe that's what's giving it's picking up less punch, whereas the SDs and the Wilkinson quite a higher impedance, which probably means that it's got more windings. Yeah, let's have a look at the waveforms, see if we can spot anything. Alright, so here's the original Yamaha. You can see that there's a little bit of raspiness, a little bit of high frequencies on the top of these peaks here. You know, it's following the main sinusoid, the primary signal, but of course all these little harmonics is sort of what gives it the character and the tone. So you know, this first note scrolling forward, this first note's quite smooth. The second one's a bit of raspiness in that one. Just zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see there's the pause there, a little rest. This has kind of got a that sort of feel to it. Right, let's have a look at the next one. Here we have the cheapie, same sort of raspiness. It's kind of maybe a little bit more depth to it, but sort of scrolling through, yeah, we're kind of seeing a little bit more, you know, like zooming in. There's quite a fair bit of harmonic on top of the primary frequency, which gives it just that little bit more tone. All right, let's go ahead and look at the Wilkinson. All right, having a look at the Wilkinson, you can see that there's more character, more tone coming through. It's just not quite as mellow as the original, and maybe has a little bit more character to it than the cheapies. Right, let's have a look at the Seymour. Look, I'm going to say that this probably is capturing the most character of the tone. I don't think there's a lot in it with the Wilkinson, but just sort of looking through, you know, like in this section here, you can see there's a lot of extra harmonics that it's catching beyond the fundamental. But look, it's a case of you're letting your eyes make decisions for your brain. It should be coming through with the sound. You let your ears make the decision. I think I can easily hear the difference between the Yamaha and the rest. The Wilkinson and the SD, I don't think I can hear any difference. And the cheapies, surprisingly, aren't that far off the mark. Now, one of the things I did do was I captured all the previous ones with the tone knob at 100%. I quite like the brightness of that. Let's listen to them with the tone at 0%. that was interesting because with the tone all the way down, you've got a capacitor that's taking out a lot of the higher frequencies, and I found that the stock and the cheapies kind of sounded the same. The Wilkinson and the Seymour had a bit more character to it, but I found that the Wilkinson just popped out a little bit more, and sort of tells me that that part of the harmonic frequencies are actually quite low. That perhaps the Seymour is picking up more of high frequency harmonics, and when they're cut out, sort of just leaving behind those mid. But of course, it's probably more just the way that I played at that time. I tried to play the riff consistently all the way through, but maybe just in that one, I was feeling the groove a little bit more and opened it up. Although the stock Yamaha has a nice tone, I prefer that sort of the brighter tones of the newer pickups. The cheapie wasn't as cheap as you'd think it would be. I'm going to leave the Wilkinson on my old Yamaha, and the Seymour will go on the new bass when it's built. Alright, might finish out with a couple of tunes for you. Thanks for watching.